Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the TIberius Show with your host, TIberius Boy.
That's me, TIberius.
Today, we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a video about different types of tower defenses, a book about a kid that wants to do snow, and we have a totally awesome guest. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Anthony and Staci Cascio.
Hey, TIberius, thanks for having us.
You're welcome. And Anthony and Staci are the creators of Food as a Prescription.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
We sure are.
Well, today we're going to start off with the video game of the week, and this is going to be a burst.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Perfect Tower 2. This game is made by Fire Sword Studios. Well, this game is on Steam, but now you have to have a Steam account. But if you have your parents' permission, this month the game is free.
Ooh, free!
I know, right? Oh yeah, be sure to download it today. Well, I get started to play and I see 4 options: start, options, credit, and exit. You basically have to survive 100 rounds of little and big blocks attacking your tower. Those little blocks touch your tower and you die, and the game is over. That was fast. Well, that sucks. But you have to earn some white credits, and then you are allowed to purchase upgrades with it. If you convert it to blue credits, you can unlock abilities and upgrades. After a few upgrades, I'm a lot stronger and can last a lot longer.
Oh, tower block defense games are one of my favorite kind of games to play.
Wow, so you might like this. Well, this game has lots of different upgrades and modules, and other buildings that give you more options like mining or factories or even a lab. You can do research and dig for gems. You can use those gems to upgrade buildings and make your defenses stronger. There was one upgrade called Military Tier. My dad warned me to be careful before I did it. Well, when I did it, they wiped out all my credits! Why? That was not cool. So locked like a hidden rebirth, and it did unlock a lot of new stuff, though.
Yeah, it's like purging and starting all over again.
Like, wait a second. What? Like,
Purging, it's when you lose a whole bunch of stuff and you have to start all over again, but it's kind of cool
like,
because...
wait a second. Why take all my credits when
it
I
happens.
save up like 2 million? I'm really good. Well, I got my dad to play, and he unlocked artificial intelligence upgrades, which allows you to write programs to automate playing the game. I know, right? Now this is getting interesting. I'm really enjoying this game and want some of my friends to try it as well.
Yeah, it's fun when your friends play the same games because then you kind of have something in common.
Exactly. I give Perfect Tower 2 12 out of 10 stars because you really get to adjust the towers for your own playstyle, and it's so much fun for hours and hours of game time.
Well, if it's 12 out of 10, that's a good indication it's a pretty good game.
TIberiusSmithLaw.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
The website again is TIberiusSmithLaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
And now it's time for the book of the week. It never, ever snows in Florida. This book is written by Amy Swayze. Amy is a meteorologist that was a guest on my show. Let me read the back of the book. In fact, would you guys do the honors?
AJ lives in Florida, where it never ever snows. He dreams of a day where he can build a snowman or wear warm boots in the winter like the other kids. AJ soon learns he can't say never when it comes to the weather. Just because he hasn't seen any doesn't mean it will never snow in Florida.
You're right. And this is not an AR book, so you don't get any points for reading it. But it was a great book about the weather, and I suggest that young kids take the time to read it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so There was this kid named AJ, and he lives in Florida. And he says that it never snows in Florida because he's never seen snow. And, well, he wants to see snow. So his mom is a meteorologist, and she taught AJ that it's very rare to have snow in Florida. But it does happen sometimes. Well, the weather systems have to be just right for it to happen. Then AJ wants to know why. Well, his mom uses this as a teaching moment to talk about how a meteorologist predicts the weather. And then guess what happens? The conditions seem perfect for potential snow. And, okay, no, I ain't going to tell you the rest of the story, but it was a pretty good ending. I think you should read the book too.
I agree.
Well, I give It Never Ever Snows in Florida 10 out of 10 stars because I really liked the story and one of the few things that the ending was so good.
It's such a cool idea for a book, too.
Yeah.
It is. And now it's time for an interview of an interesting person. Today's guest is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Anthony and Staci.
Hey!
Cascio.
How you doing, Tiberius?
I'm doing pretty
a lot of
good.
fun.
And Anthony and Staci are performers that learn about how different types of food affect them.
Yeah, absolutely. We're both entertainers. I was a tap dancer. Staci was with Sesame Street Live, and I was with Tap Dogs, and food changed our lives, so we had to pay more attention to it.
So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
I'm loving it.
Yeah, this is so much fun. I was listening to your shows before being on the show with you. You're dynamite, kid. You got the swagger.
Thank you. Okay, so let me get this right. You both are performers, like on stage and stuff. Then all of a sudden you become food experts? How did all of this come about?
Well, both of our bodies were in strife because we didn't know that the food we were eating was affecting our health so negatively. And then after long experiences and a lot of research and a lot of doctors and people who aren't doctors but are also knowledgeable about bodies, we learned that the thing we needed to change to save our own lives was the food we eat.
Wow. Now, when my dad told me that you wanted to be a guest on my show, I was worried. See, I like good tasting food and I love meat. I mean, steak is the best. Are you going to tell me no more steak?
No, not at all. It's just the quality of the meat or protein or steak you eat needs to be good quality. So we eat grass-fed steak. We use a service to send steak to our house so that we know what farm it comes from and how the cows are treated and what they're fed to make sure we protect our own health.
Wow. So I'm just a kid. How can I adjust what I eat for my meals?
You know, it's interesting. One of my favorite things to eat as a kid, which I had forgotten and then came back to later in life, was fruit. I love fruit. It's so yummy. Do you like fruit?
I do.
Yeah, you can have apples. They're sweet and lots of different kinds of apples and oranges and bananas and grapes and strawberries and blueberries, like all this great fruit. So one of the things that's easy to do is to eat fruit because it's good for you and healthy and delicious instead of like maybe eating McDonald's every time or Wendy's.
Crackers.
Well, I don't eat McDonald's like every time, but I do like McDonald's.
Well,
McDonald's McChickens are good.
Yeah, well, everything in moderation. Yeah, sure.
So, are you going to tell me no more candy?
No, I love candy. I just make sure the candy I eat doesn't have high fructose
like
corn syrup.
Sugar-free.
No, not at all.
You can have
Tiberius.
like organic cane sugar.
Yeah.
Some people use some sugar replacements. Not everyone can handle them, but some people can.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that make us concerned in life are misunderstandings. Because we've had different experiences, we think, oh my God, I can't ever have candy again. And that's not what it is. It's just that make sure the candy you eat is of better quality.
Well, my school will be providing lunches next year. Could your program be used in schools?
Oh my God,
I would love it if it could.
Yeah.
The issue there is what's called cross-contamination. And yeah, it can be a little bit tricky, but it can be done.
Yeah, and really our thing, the book, Food as a Prescription, is a guide for how to have more knowledge and to be better at these things, but still enjoy delicious things. So our book would be ideal for schools because it would give them insight on how to protect and treat their students with certain food allergies and also make sure everybody really enjoyed the food.
I'm like, I have a friend named Cash, and he has a food allergy. Like, how is that going to happen when people normally don't even know about the allergies because
Right,
there's a lot
yeah.
of staff, and
Yeah,
I don't know whose
knowledge.
staff are buying the food.
Yeah.
They should know about like everyone's food allergies.
Totally, dude. Knowledge goes a long way. And what you're talking about would help so many of your friends in school.
So how long have you been doing this?
My personal journey has been a little over 10 years.
Yeah, and I think I've been gluten-free, soy-free, corn-free for, 3-4 years now?
Maybe four, yeah.
4 years. But it was in the last year and a half that we actually wrote the book and put it out to the public so they had a guide to help them.
Good for Staci. 10 years is a milestone. I mean, I'm 11. That's like when I was
Your
a
whole
year
life.
old. She like started.
Yeah, man.
Wow, it's a long time. So how did you know that this was the go-to job for you?
We're dance teachers and we're artists. So art kind of calls you into life. Like what you're doing right now, you're getting called into this mission. You are a fantastic host and your show is awesome. Well, that happened to us when we were younger. And then we went from dance into caring for people and then teaching our art form to younger humans. And now we went from teaching an art form to teaching or making knowledge available so that younger humans and all humans could kind of thrive and better their own lives. It just happens.
So how does being a kind of health food expert make the world a better place?
It's practicing empathy.
Yeah.
Because not everybody in life goes through the same experience. And if you can understand that other people go through challenges and not judge them or make fun of them or point fingers at them, but really accept them and help them and realize that it's not their fault or it's not something they're doing by choice, it helps society and the world be a better place.
So you learned about food and started to give advice to people. So how did you get to writing a book and building a podcast?
Well, the book came by accident. Before we get to the book, we didn't actually start a podcast. We like to be on other people's podcasts because we respect what they do. And we just want to bring into the mix what we do and have conversations about it, right? But aside from the podcast, we did the book because during COVID, we realized everybody was telling me I needed to write a book, right? Because I've had a crazy life. But you know, like people, we realized people were on Facebook having the same experience, struggling. And we
kept seeing the same question asked over and over, and we would have to answer the same way over and over and over again. And we kind of looked at each other like maybe like the 20th time we were answering the same question. Like, maybe people need to hear this information in a different way. Yeah. Right.
So that's how the book came about.
Wow. So I really like video games. Does that basically affect your food?
Video games
depends.
Don't affect food, but I remember there was a game where you had to make like hamburgers and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, could you have a gluten-free hamburger bun?
I do know a trick. It's a fact actually. When people are like gaming, they're not that hungry.
Oh, really?
If they play for like 4 hours straight, they're not eating for 4 hours.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, your brain is a little focused on something else.
And you know what? There was something called fasting. So you could actually use video games as a method to fast so that you're not thinking about food, that you have something else to pay attention to and be engaged with.
Does it take a lot of formal training to become a healthy food expert?
It can if you want it to.
Sure, you could go to school for it or college for it or even go through through the medical field. You could be a nutritionist or you could have a life experience that is a very personal experience. And really, it's not that you studied health and nutrition, but your experience is an experience a lot of other people are having. So you want to share it with other people so they don't feel alone and they know that they can help themselves too.
Well, can you tell me things to avoid as a child that will help me eat healthier without losing the taste that I love so much?
You know, it's interesting. The first thing I took out of my diet was high fructose corn syrup. That's a really tricky one. And it's in a lot of things. When you realize that you're putting that particular thing in your body all day long, even when you're sick, like it's in medications and cough medicine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just be a little bit more aware as a kid. Like just read things. It doesn't mean you have to do something about it immediately. But if you read things when you're younger, you'll just acquire more knowledge. Like you're acquiring knowledge.
Specifically, in addition to the high fructose corn syrup, beware of artificial food dyes.
Yeah, dyes are one of the things that affect. I have my nephew, when he is it red or blue?
Yes, red.
When he eats things that are red, he has some emotional hyperactivity that he has to deal with. But when he doesn't eat those things, he doesn't deal with that emotional hyperactivity. So that's a really deep, interesting conversation, which is a total different thing. But just be aware what you're putting in you, dude. It makes a difference in life.
I mean, like, when I eat, like, green stuff, it just grosses me out.
You have to find the right way to eat it for you, because it's not always the same for everyone.
Sure, green jello is pretty good.
Well, what is the best part about working as a healthy food expert?
Helping people.
Seeing the change in people's lives. They lose weight. They become stronger. They
lose the inflammation.
They lose inflammation in their body.
Yeah.
They become more confident in themselves. The list is endless. It's watching people transform is beautiful. And that's been our life as dance teachers. And now it's our life as food coaches.
Yeah, my dad really loves candy. And that's how he had like 308 pounds on him.
Well,
so he gave up on candy and ate healthy food. He lost 100 pounds.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good for him. But what was the one thing that when you started to work in this field that you did not expect?
How many other people were also dealing with these issues? I knew that there was a lot of people dealing with it, but I had no idea how many. Almost every person at least in North America or America that we know or have contact through social media, either they are dealing with it or someone they know, a loved one or a family member is dealing with changing their food to change their life for the better.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the hardest part about being a healthy food advocate?
Some people aren't ready to hear the message. They ask you for your honest opinion and then you tell them, and then they respond defensively or negatively because you're asking them to change something that
they love.
Part of who they are.
Yeah, part of who they are. And right away, they hear what they can't have instead of what they can have.
Like braces. It was hard to have braces for me.
Yeah, but you know what?
It was really hard.
You'll be okay, man. You'll be good, You'll be good, Tiberius.
At least my braces are off now. I can have chips and popcorn and gummies now. Yay!
There you go. You're all good.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is the one thing that you think would make your job easier?
You know, I read all the questions ahead of time, but still some of them stump me.
I would say maybe restaurants understanding how to deal with people with food allergies. That is a huge factor in, I mean, we basically cook every meal at home. We rarely go out to eat because there's only a handful of places that can really handle what we need. I
think society realizing that the words gluten-free, soy-free, corn-free, dairy, it's not a trend. It's a serious solution for a lot of people. So
literally.
we should treat it like that.
It's serious.
Yeah.
Well, what advice would you give to my listeners if they want to go up and teach people how to be healthier and what they eat?
Just read everything you eat. Knowing more about what you're putting in your body changes your life experience.
That's what my friend does because he has an allergy, as you know. And he has to, like, read every single thing. And I'm like, you shouldn't have to deal with this, man. You shouldn't. No one deserves to have any food allergy. No one does.
That's right. They don't. So when they do, it's important to support them because it's not their fault.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is the one tool that you use most in doing your job?
Teaching people to be an advocate for themselves, letting them know that there's a support system, and just empowering people. We want people to realize how powerful they are and that they can help themselves with knowledge.
I was going to say a kitchen scale.
Kitchen scale. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there a difference between a diet and eating healthy?
Yes. They're kind of the same thing and they're kind of different. I mean, you're much younger, but a lot of people my age and older think that a diet is something you go on. But a diet is really your everyday input.
Like a lifestyle.
It's what you put in your body every day.
But the connotation of the word diet has been so far made into a negative thing or into
really
start and stop type of thing, even though it's really not.
It's not. Like, literally, it's just changing your life. I mean,
it's sustainability.
Yeah. My dad went on a big diet. Actually lost a lot of weight,
That's cool.
which is good. So, what is the one message that you want to get out to the kids all over the world about working in this field?
Children are powerful. And I've worked with children for a long, long time. And they are smart and they are wise. And they should try to stay true to themselves, even when the system that they live in may make them question themselves. You are incredible.
What was the biggest mistake you ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Man, we make mistakes all the time. And I think the way mistakes change us as people, or me as a person, is we learn from them and we get better at life.
So, when you are not working and talking about food as a prescription, what do you do for fun?
Tap dance. It's always about tap dance and fishing and traveling.
Nice, fishing. I love
Yeah.
fishing. Well, do you play video games? And if you do, what's your favorite one?
Do you want to take that one there?
I like to play a lot of slots on my phone, I think.
Ooh, Slotsomania. That's a
But when I actually go to a casino, I don't necessarily like to play slots. I actually
That's
like
funny.
to play craps.
Yeah, I played video games growing up a lot, and sometimes I'll throw one or two on my phone.
Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid show, but that one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
We were
Give me
thinking.
information.
I think about things like that all the time. Like being a dance teacher, I say things that are like have double entendres. Like I'll say,
On
"Okay,
accident. It just kind of comes out.
yeah," they just kind of come out. So often I've said something in a room of children that I don't know if the children have the same meaning of what I just said as the adults in the room of what I just said.
Oh, gosh. But is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
I don't know. We like to do things, enjoy life, have fun, live in the moment, make it real. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. Don't stress. Life isn't about stress. Life is about a party every day if you could experience it that way.
True. Well, do you have a website or Facebook for my listeners who want to follow you?
Sure. Our company is called Loca Foods, LOCAFOODS Inc.com. So you go to locafoodsinc.com. You can find Loca Foods on Instagram and on Facebook. And if
Twitter.
you really want to go, and Twitter, but if you really want to go and know more about us or me as an individual tap dancer, you can find my name on Instagram at Anthony Cascio or TikTok at Anthony Cascio.
Or our tap dance company website, taplifecompany.com.
Yeah.
Wow. So what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Why is your hair green?
Well, why is your hair green?
Because I wanted to change. Sometimes I do purple, sometimes I do blue, sometimes it's multicolored.
Is it because you eat greens?
I probably don't eat as much as I should.
I'm the broccoli eater, not this one.
Yeah, I'm the candy eater of the family.
Seems that way.
Well, thank you, Anthony and Staci, for being my special guests. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
You bet.
Yeah, sure, especially this one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners.
And now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, Anthony and Staci, for helping me with Math Corners. Today, we're going to talk about two-step equations. So, we've been talking a lot about algebra lately, and today we're going to learn about more complicated equations. Yay! Well, as it states, a two-step equation would be solved in exactly 2 steps. This time, we're going to use a real-world example.
I guess that's why 2 steps called
Yeah.
2-step equation. It makes sense.
Well, Tom's brother buys 3 tickets to a basketball game, but does not tell Tom how much each ticket costs. Tom really wants to reimburse his brother for his ticket, so he wants to find the cost of 1 ticket. He knows the total price of all the tickets was $250. It's a lot. He also knows the website where his brother bought the tickets charges a flat $10 processing fee. Okay, so to solve this, you have to turn it into an equation. Well, there are 3 tickets times an unknown number. So that is a variable. So you have $10 fee for using the website. So you do 3x plus 10 equals the $250. So to solve it, you subtract the $10 from both sides and get 3x equals $240. Now divide by 3 and get x equals $80 per tickets. Those are some expensive seats. Are they front
Must be a
row?
good game.
Because if they are front row, good price. So Anthony and Stacy, do you now know all about 2-step equations?
Yes, sir.
Well, she does more than I do. Her
Yeah.
father was a math teacher.
Yeah.
Well, my teacher says that I would use math every day. Do you have to use math in your job?
Yes.
We actually do for tap dancing. Absolutely.
For tap dancing and for
baking.
baking.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
E4. 1, 2, 3, E4. That's funny. Well, thank you so much, Anthony and Stacy, for your help with Math Corners.
You bet.
You got it.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. Well, this week we're going to talk about nobility. For me, I think nobility is remembering we are God's special possessions and acting in a noble way, showing courage and honor. While the qualities of nobility are goodness, virtue, honor, generosity, and selflessness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this week I saw nobility with the guy that was running down the street. Now, my dad always tells me to make sure when you leave a room that is the same or better than when you entered it. Well, I was walking down to the dollar store, and this guy was running down the sidewalk. He saw some trash on the floor, and he slowed down to pick it up, then he threw it away in the trash can further down the road. Now, that may not seem much to you, but that was pretty selfless to make the place neater. I pointed it out to my dad, and he said that if you want to make the world a better place, you have to start to improve it yourself first. Now, when we walk to the store, I'm going to make sure the path is clean of litter.
That's a good thing.
And also, last time we went to the dollar store, I picked up like 5 items.
Wow.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I'm with you on that.
So, Anthony and Stacy, do you see or use nobility at all this week?
Actually, your story reminds me of something I've talked to Stacy about before, and it made me think of a past guest you've had on the show, Aretha.
I think so.
Aretha from the House of Representatives in Florida. There was always a project I wanted to start. One of my favorite recording artists, Jason Mraz, he has a song where he has the line, picking up trash in dresses. And when I was a kid, we had Hoots the Owl, give a hoot, don't pollute. And I feel like we treat the place that we live in kind of a little bit the way that it looks. And often being in the tri-state area, I'm in New York, I see a lot of trash around. And I have picked up trash before when I walk around, especially on the block I live in. And that Jason Mraz song is the line, it's like picking up trash in dresses. And along with Earth Day, I was always interested in maybe starting a day where we all put on dresses and picked up trash around our community as the planet Earth or as North America. So we had this thing in common where we clean up the space we live in, so we treat it and each other with more love and respect.
I mean, now for pollution in the ocean, we have Team C's. Like, donate $1, 1 pound of trash gone.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's incredible. What a great day.
They were trying to get to 30 million. They did it. So good for them.
That's
You can
awesome.
You can still donate though.
Absolutely.
Of all of the Heart of a Lion virtues, which is your favorite?
I think integrity is my favorite.
Yeah, I think a lot of things come from integrity. But I mean, honestly, do we have to have a favorite, or do we need to compare them? Can't we just all try to embody them all at the same
Have to have a
time?
favorite.
Yeah, there you go. See what I'm saying? You get it.
Well, we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
I agree.
Yep.
And that's our show, folks. I'm going to thank the one, the only, the amazing Anthony and Staci Cascio for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking with you today. I think we learned a lot about the food that we put in our bodies and how we can make the world a better place.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. And if you want to find us, look us up at Loca Food, Loca Food Inc. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook and on Twitter.
Thanks for having us, Tiberius.
You're welcome. And also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram on The Tiberius Show. And please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and like and subscribe. Also, be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius. Bye!